11, 15 July 1969, Cape Kennedy, Florida, the night before the great day. $6 million of machine, 36 stories tall. Nearly 10 years' work of 500,000 people. Through the night, it was checklisted, double-checked, electronically monitored, computerized, televised, dehumanized of human error. The day began for the astronauts. Breakfast, medical examination, suiting up. Neil Armstrong, Commander Apollo 11. Edwin Buzz Aldrin, Lunar Module Pilot. Michael Collins, Command Module Pilot.
Właśnie wyszedł z pomieszczeń, gdzie ubierają się piloci.
La tripulación subirá a la camioneta que
to take them to pad 39A.
At 6:32 a.m., 3 hours before launch, on pad 39A, Armstrong and Aldrin walked on the surface of the Earth. Their next steps would be on the moon. Spectators rolled in by the thousands. Campers, trailers, cars, and pickups filled the campsites and the beaches, lined the highways, lined the parkways. Propellant load pressure and temperature. Digital transmission worldwide tracking, stabilization and guidance, radio frequency telemetry and voice communications, signal conditioner integration, spacecraft electrical power, flight control, S-4B propulsion stage monitoring, S-1C, S-2 propulsion stage. Every important valve, gauge, and circuit was continually monitored at Launch Control Center throughout the 28-hour countdown.
Countdown still going well. T-minus 55 minutes, 10 seconds and counting. This is Kennedy.
Among the 6,000 special guests were a vice president, an ex-president, 2 plane loads of the diplomatic corps from Washington, 205 U.S. congressmen, 19 governors, 30 senators, 50 mayors from cities across the country, movie celebrities and television personalities, and another 2 plane loads of dignitaries from Europe.
This is Apollo Saturn Launch Control. We passed the 6-minute mark in our countdown for Apollo 11, the flight to land of the first men on the moon. We're on time at the present time for our planned liftoff of 32 minutes past the hour. Coming up shortly, that swing arm up at the spacecraft level will come back to its fully retracted position. This should occur at the 5-minute mark in the count. The swing arm now coming back as our countdown continues. Skip Chauvin informing the astronauts that the swing arm now coming back. 4 minutes and counting, we are go for Apollo 11. We'll be coming up in the automatic sequence about 10 or 15 seconds from this time. The vehicle starting to pressurize as far as the propellant tanks are concerned, and all is still go as we monitor our status for it. Firing command coming in now. We're on an automatic sequence as the master computer supervises hundreds of events occurring over these last few minutes. 2 minutes, 10 seconds and counting. Oxidizer tanks in the second and third stages now have pressurized. T-minus 1 minute, 35 seconds. The third stage completely pressurized. T-minus 60 seconds and counting. We passed T-minus 60. 55 seconds and counting. Neil Armstrong reported back when he received the good wishes. Thank you very much. We know it will be a good flight. Good luck and Godspeed. 40 seconds away from the Apollo 11 liftoff. All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 35 seconds and counting. We are still go with Apollo 11. 30 seconds and counting. Astronauts report it feels good. T-minus 25 seconds. 20 seconds and counting. T-minus 15 seconds. Guidance is internal. 12, 11, 10, 9. Ignition sequence start. 6.
1 Charlie. Mark, mode 1 Charlie. 1 Charlie. This is Houston, you are go for staging. Board cutoff. I'm in board cutoff. We got skirts up. Roger, we confirm skirts up. Tower's going. Roger, tower.
When Apollo was safely underway, control of the mission was switched to Houston. The months of tightly focused work at the Cape were over.
Campaign. 18 flights at Detroit.
What science fiction in the childhood of the space age could have guessed the shape of reality? The Saturn V rocket. 3 stages, 28 stories tall, with 11 engines as powerful as all the waterfalls in North America combined. Years in the planning, months in the building and testing, the Saturn first stage lived but 2 minutes 41 seconds.
Stages. And ignition. 11 Houston, thrust is go. All engines, you're looking good. Hi, Roger, you're loud and clear.
2 minutes 41 seconds. Time to throw Apollo 40 miles up into the sky, and then an empty shell to fall back into the sea.
We got skirts up. Roger, we confirm skirts up. Tower's going. Roger, tower.
Neil Armstrong confirming both the engine skirt separation and the launch escape tower separation.
Houston, Apollo 11 and Saturn gave us a magnificent ride. Roger, 11, we'll pass that on, and it certainly looks like you're well on your way now. 11 Houston, your guidance is converged, you're looking good.
Downrange 140 miles, altitude 62 miles, velocity 10,000.
Mission control in Houston, Texas had taken over from launch control at Cape Kennedy for the duration of the 8-day mission. The complicated technology of Apollo Saturn evolved from an ingeniously simple concept: lunar orbit rendezvous. This requires a rocket made in many pieces that discards the useless weight of each piece when its function is completed. The flight began with a vertical lift through the heavy lower atmosphere and a tilt to the east. At 6,000 miles per hour, the empty first stage is discarded to save weight. So is an adapter ring and the unused escape tower. With the second stage firing, it reaches 15,000 miles per hour when it too is jettisoned. The third stage places Apollo in Earth orbit at 17,400 miles per hour. When the spacecraft has been thoroughly checked out by the crew, the third stage fires again, its speed now tearing it free from the grip of Earth's gravity. While coasting outward, the command service module separates and docks for access to the lunar module, and the empty third stage is left behind. Apollo loses speed throughout 9/10 of its journey until the moon's gravity overcomes the pull of Earth. Apollo fires in reverse direction, slowing down enough to be captured in orbit about the moon. Armstrong and Aldrin enter the lunar module Eagle, which separates, leaving Collins and the command service module in lunar orbit. Eagle slows still more and brakes to a touchdown on the lunar surface. After the moonwalk, the upper stage of the Eagle lifts off, leaving behind the now useless landing stage, and swings into orbit to dock with Columbia once again. When the crew and moon samples are transferred to the command service module, the lunar module is discarded. The command service module fires itself out of lunar orbit and falls back to Earth. As it approaches the re-entry speed of nearly 25,000 miles per hour, the service module drops away. The command module plunges into the atmosphere, protected by its heat shield. Slowed still more by the heavy lower atmosphere, it parachutes into the sea. The command module, Columbia, is all that remains of the original 3,000 tons of rocket, fuel, and cargo.
Apollo 11, this is Houston, over.
While in Earth orbit, the Apollo crew had less than 2 hours to check out all their spacecraft systems. The last chance to discover and correct any malfunction before the third stage engine is restarted to break them free of Earth. The translunar injection.
We're 10 minutes away from ignition on translunar injection.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. You are go for TLI, over. Apollo 11, thank you. Roger that. Apollo 11, this is Houston. Slightly less than 1 minute to ignition, and everything is go. Roger. Ignition. We confirm ignition, and the thrust is go. Apollo 11, Roger.
Guidance looking good. Velocity 26,000 feet per second. Telemetry and radar tracking both solid. Velocity 27,800 feet per second.
Through the window of the command module, the Earth gently slipped away.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. Thrust is good. Everything's still looking good. Roger.
29,000 feet per second, building up toward 30,000 feet per second.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. Around 3.5 minutes. You're still looking good. Your predicted cutoff is right on the nominal.
Deep space tracking antennas, a third of a world apart, listened to Apollo and spoke to Apollo. As the Earth turned, at least one of them would have contact with Apollo at all times, except when it passed behind the moon.
34,000 feet per second now, altitude 152. $35,000 feet per second. Cut off. We're showing velocity 35,570 feet per second. Altitude 177 nautical miles. At 3 hours 11 minutes into the mission, distance from Earth 3,140 nautical miles. DS-4B is reported in a stable attitude for this separation.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. Your go for separation. Okay, Barrow B coming armed. My intent is to use bottle primary one as per the checklist, therefore I just turned day on. All right, we concur with the logic.
We're awaiting confirmation of separation.
Roger.
We confirm the separation here on the ground.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. Radio check, over. The Goldstone station reports a very weak signal. We believe that Mike Collins is now maneuvering the spacecraft in the transposition and docking maneuver, and the antenna patterns aren't too good at the moment. So we have a weak signal strength.
The command service module separated and turned around to dock with Eagle, the lunar module.
Apollo 11, this is Houston. How do you read? Apollo 11, this is Houston. Radio check, over. Roger, we're copying you about 5 by 2, very weak. Can you give us a status report, please? Oh, loud and clear now, Mike, and we understand that you are docked. That's right. Hello, Apollo 11, Houston. We recommend you accept the 949, continue through your sequence of sightings, and then we'll analyze the data afterwards, over. Okay.
On board was a fourth brain, a small computer called DISCI, which solved problems and helped with a long sequence of systems checks and data exchange with Earth.
Houston, Apollo 11, star 40 has just disappeared now in the sextant. Could the trunnion angle 47 something be a little high? Stand by. Hello, Apollo 11, Houston. We'd like you to press on to star 44, over. Yeah, roger. How many marks?
They found their way across the sea of space, navigating by the same stars that guided Columbus to shores unknown.
11, Houston, we copy. 2 good marks, over. Okay. Okay, drug removal is coming next.
3 days falling to the moon, free of the gravity of Earth. No up or down, no day or night. A sense of stillness while traveling at the speed of a meteor.
About how long it'll be before you start closing the limb back up, over.
An invisible speck in the night, somewhere between here and there, constantly monitored from Earth. Within this tiny spacecraft, a temporary Earth environment, warmth, air, food, water, everything necessary to sustain life. Beyond these fragile walls, nothingness, absolute cold, an end to life. The most important function of the spacecraft, life, was also monitored constantly through telemetry, the heartbeat and breathing of each astronaut. Although each breath was 30,000 feet farther from Earth than the breath before it. Should one heart flutter, it would at once be a matter of concern to millions worlds away. Unlike any other place man had traveled before, space could provide him with nothing. It is a vacuum, devoid of every element needed for life. No up or down, no day or night. Only the slow creeping of the harsh sunlight through the windows as the spacecraft rotates to keep from getting too hot on one side, too cold on the other. They carried with them the biological day of the Earthling, 3 meals, a snack or two, 8 hours of sleep. Time to work, time to relax, time to reflect. 3 days, falling upward to the moon.
Noun 44 is NA. Delta VT 00197. 003 00152. Apollo 11, this is Houston. I've got the morning news here if you're interested, over. Yeah, we sure are. We're ready to copy and comment. Okay, first off, looks like it's going to be impossible to get away from the fact that you guys are dominating all the news back here in Earth. Even Pravda in Russia is headlining the mission and calls Neil the czar of the ship. I think maybe they got the wrong mission. Among the large headlines concerning Apollo this morning is one asking that you watch for a lovely girl with a big rabbit. Hello there, Earthling. Hello there. An ancient legend says a beautiful Chinese girl called Chang'o has been living there for 4,000 years. It seems she was banished to the moon because she stole the pill of immortality from her husband. You might also look for her companion, a large Chinese rabbit, who is easy to spot since he is always standing on his hind feet in the shade of a cinnamon tree. The name of the rabbit is not reported. Okay, we'll keep a close eye out for the bunny girl. And in Corby, England, an Irishman, John Coyle, has won the World Porridge Eating Championship by consuming 23 bowls of instant oatmeal in a 10-minute time limit from a field of 35 other competitors, over. I'd like to enter Aldrin in the oatmeal eating contest next time. He's on his 19th bowl. Roger. Back here in Houston, Mayor Louis Welch promises the lifting of lawn watering restrictions if the rains continue. Plus all balls plus 000 9 or 8 plus correction 00572 perigee plus 00085 00764 030 000 2 9er 3 Mount 86 minus 00759er.
Apollo went into orbit around the moon.
Oh, Apollo 11, Houston, we're wondering if you started into the limb yet, over.
The lunar module Eagle was again given a thorough checkout to ensure the functioning of all systems, as Armstrong and Aldrin prepared to seal themselves off from Collins in the command module and for the two craft to pull apart.
2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Houston out, over.
Okay, it's go there, Capcom on the hot fire. Okay, all flight controllers going around the horn, gonna go for undocking. Okay, retro, go. Fido, go. Guide, go. Control, go. Telcom, go. Jinsei, go. Ecom, go. Surgeon, go. Capcom, we're go for undocking.
Hello, Eagle, Houston, we're standing by, over. Eagle, Houston, we see you on the steerable, over. Roger, Eagle, undocked. Roger, how does it look? The Eagle has wings. Roger.
The Eagle has wings. On its own now, but with Columbia near at hand, it coasted around to the backside of the moon And there, while out of direct communication with the Earth, it fired its engine to slow its descent to a touchdown on the near side of the moon. Collins in Columbia continued in orbit, awaiting their return.
Okay, all flight controllers, go for landing. Retro. Go. Fido. Go. Guidance. Go. Control. Go. Telcom. Go. GNC. Go. Ecom. Go. Surgeon. Go. Capcom, we're go for landing.
Altitude 4200.
Houston, you're go for landing, over. Roger, understand. Go for landing. 3,000 feet. You're looking great.
How you doing, Control?
We look good here, fine.
All right, how about you, Telcom? Go. Guidance, you happy? Go. Fido. Go.
2,000 feet. 2,000 feet. Into the ag, 47 degrees. Roger. 37 degrees.
Still looking very good.
Your go. Top alarm. 1201. 1201. Roger, 1201 alarm.
1201 alarm. Same type, we're go, flight. Okay, we're go.
We're go. Same type. We're go.
Altitude 1600.
Eagle looking great. Roger, 1202. We copy it. 35 degrees. 750. Coming down to 23. 540 feet and a 15. 1050 feet down at 4. Altitude, velocity, light. 3.5 down. 220 feet. 11 forward, coming down nicely. 200 feet. 4.5 down. 5.5 down. 100 feet. 3.5 down. 9 forward. Okay, 75 feet. Car's looking good. Down a half. 6 forward. 60 seconds. Lights on. Forward. Forward. 40 feet down, 2.5. Picking up some dust. Straight shadow. 4 forward, drift into the right a little. 30 seconds. Forward, drift. Contact light. Okay, engine stop. We copy you down, Eagle. Houston, Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
This is Apollo Control Houston at 105 hours.
今世界は人類がその歴史上初めて月面に一歩を踏む瞬間を待っているのであります。街の通りにはかなり多くの人が見られますが、大多数の人はもちろんテレビを見られるホテルのロビーとか休憩室に集まっています。私たちは待っているところで
que l'homme pour la première fois prenne pied sur la Lune. Les rues sont loin d'être vides naturellement, mais naturellement aussi c'est surtout dans les halls d'hôtels, les bars et les appartements que les gens se groupent, c'est-à-dire partout où ils peuvent trouver un récepteur de télévision. Et nous attendons tous.
Lagebericht, während die Welt darauf wartet, dass ein Mensch zum ersten Mal den Mond
And the
betritt.
world waited. July 20th, 1969. It is said that 500 million people gathered at TV sets around the world to wait for the first Earthling to set foot on the moon. Countless millions more listened on the radio to the voices from the moon.
This Neil, radio check. Neil, this is Houston, loud and clear. Break, buzz.
Never before had so many people been attuned to one event at one time.
世界都等待着人类首次登陆月球的当日。
The world waited, curious, wondering, aware, like a sleeper wakened in the night by a faraway sound. A moment sensed, more than understood.
What? Okay, Neil, we can see you coming down the ladder now. Neil, we can see you coming. Okay, I just checked, getting back up to that first step. That hasn't collapsed too far, but it's adequate to get back up. Roger, we copy. Pretty good little jump. I'm at the foot of the ladder. The lamb footbeds are only depressed in the surface about 1 or 2 inches, although the surface appears to be very, very fine-grained as you get close to it. It's almost like a powder. Ground mass is very fine. I'm going to step off the limb. That's one small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
That is one small step for man,
Un pequeño paso para el
one
hombre,
giant
pero un
leap
gran salto
for
gigante
mankind.
para la humanidad. 小さな一歩であった。
Dies ist ein kleiner Schritt für den Menschen.
أدراك الحمد أنستين يا رجال.
Mais c'est un bond en avant gigantesque pour l'humanité.
And he is on the moon at 4 seconds, 8 minutes time, astronaut
L'homme est sur la Lune à 22h50.
Na Księżycu o godzinie 4.
人類が月面に到着しました。ケイプ・ケネディ時間で4時17分。
Seit
Buzz
Ihnen
Aldrin
kam
va rejoindre
Apollo
Armstrong
Armstrong
dans
wieder
2
ein
heures
der
30 en
Mondlandung
retour,
direkt
recueilleront des
auf
échantillons.
Oh, that looks beautiful to me, Neil. It has a stark beauty all its own. It's like much of the high desert of the United States. It's different, but it's very pretty out here. Are you getting a TV picture now, Houston? Neil, yes, we are getting a TV picture. You're in our field of view now. Okay, you ready for me to come out? That's the first picture in the panorama. Okay, I'm going to move it. Tell me if you got a picture, Houston. Well, we've got a beautiful picture, Neil. Okay, we've got that one. Okay, there's another good one. For a final orientation, we'd like it to come left about 5 degrees over. Okay. Okay, that looks good there, Neil.
Buzz is erecting the solar wind experiment now. Every precious minute of their 2.5 hours on the surface was programmed. Rock and soil samples were to be collected, photographs taken, experiments set up to catch unfiltered particles from the sun, to record moonquakes, to measure precisely by laser beam reflection the exact distance between moon and Earth.
Columbia, this is Houston, AOS, over. Houston, Columbia, Navigate, over. Roger, the EVA is progressing beautifully. They're setting up the flag now. I guess you're about the only person around that doesn't have TV coverage of the scene. That's all right, I don't mind a bit. They've got the flag up now, and you can see the stars and stripes on the lunar surface. Beautiful, just beautiful. How is the quality of the TV? Oh, it's beautiful, Mike. It really is. I'd like to evaluate the various paces that a person can traveling on the lunar surface. You do have to be. All right, you do have to be rather careful to keep track of where your center of mass is. Sometimes it takes about 2 or 3 paces to make sure that you've got your feet underneath you.
Alone, 45 miles above the moon's surface, Michael Collins completed an orbit every 2 hours. He listened to the progress of the moonwalk and awaited the moment when his companions on the surface would lift off to rendezvous with him. For 30 times he saw the Earth rise over the horizon of the moon. 12,000 miles of twilight, a line that divides night from day for 3 billion people on spaceship Earth. The Eagle had left the moon and returned to Columbia. Within this strange ship, 2 astronauts and a treasure. Triple-sealed vacuum boxes of rocks and soil from the surface of the moon. Locked within these rocks were secrets of the ages, to be studied and deciphered by the scientists of Earth. The age of the moon. The age of the sun. How the moon was formed. How life began. Was there ever life on the moon? Was the moon once molten and volcanic, or has it always been cold and dead? Was it once part of the Earth? Or was it a wandering planet captured by the Earth eons ago? How hot was the sun 3 billion years ago? When Armstrong and Aldrin, with their precious load of moon rocks, had transferred to Columbia, the faithful Eagle, its task completed, could be cut adrift. Columbia fired out of lunar orbit to begin its 3-day fall back to Earth, where the recovery fleet was waiting for its splashdown in the Pacific.
Apollo 11, Houston, with a little recovery force information, over. Go ahead. Roger, the Hornet is on station, just far enough off the target point to keep from getting hit. Recovery 1, the choppers...
July 24th, the Hornet was on station, and the President of the United States was aboard. Re-entry into the Earth's invisible atmosphere carries with it one of the most critical moments. Traveling nearly 25,000 miles per hour, the command module can miss the angle of re-entry by only several degrees and disintegrate into flames, or bounce off into space, never to return.
Velocity 33,000 feet per second. 35,000 feet per second now. 36,000 feet per second. We're at entry time. There's blackout. Houston through arrive. Apollo 11 Houston through arrive. Apollo 11 Houston through arrive 4. Hornet reports a sonic boom a short time ago. Apollo 11 Houston and the blind air boss has a visual contact. 11, Houston through Araya, standing by.